Live.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Hi. Oh, I need a haircut. I need a big old haircut. For all you OCD people out there.
So I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a
You done?
strip show.
All right, here we go.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys, on today's show. Why are there rocks in my cookies? And also, did you get your Facebook money yet? And also, I gotta stop saying that. Is Halloween going to be canceled this year? And how to protect yourself after unprotected sex. All this and much, much more we discuss here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? Are you excited? The summer is almost over. I know all you kids going back to school. Fuck you. No, summer's almost over for us dying out there in the heat. I think we have a high temperature today of 96 degrees, and we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a little town called Marshville, North Carolina, home of Randy Travis. So if you know who he is, tip your hat to your neighbor and say, welcome, neighbor. Population 2,500 people is what we got going on here. Small little town, but in this small little town, we have rural areas. We have on this where I live, where we broadcast a show from. We've got a big old studio up here, 800 square foot. It's finished, AC, lights, electrics, as you can see, all this stuff going on. I can have a small family live up here if I need to, but I'm only using half of it, so that's roped off over there. The visitor center's over there in the back. But here on the property, we have animals, we have horses, we have dogs, chickens, cows, cattle, goats, and foxes. You guys know my trials and tribulations of all the foxes we have been going on. I've been trying to keep them from getting in the hen house, as the nursery rhyme goes. So we have fenced in a mild fence. It's a modest fence. We fenced in a big 2,000 square foot area around the chicken coop areas. And so as far as I know, the fox has kept out of that. Now, unfortunately, our neighbors next door, they have a bunch of ducks. They have geese. They have chickens as well. And they roam, completely free. Like they were running free like on our property. But they're far enough away. They basically stay over there. And unfortunately, I think the fox has given up on ours and it has moved over to their side of the property and attacking their fowl. But yeah, so because the other day I went out there to do something with the chickens and we had some scraps, some table scraps and stuff. We threw them out there. I cut up some cantaloupe, some honeydew melon, and was throwing them out there for the chickens. They love that. And I'm throwing them out there and I notice I've got 3 ducks just kind of hanging out on our fence, like, hey, let us in. And they're looking, you know how ducks, when you got 3 of them, their heads are flip-flopping around. You can see me here on the video. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. And you can see me here in the studio and all the visuals that we have going on during the show, articles and video feeds and stuff. You can see those. Go over to YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, Deacon Live Podcast. So their heads are, bobbing around and looking around, and everyone's looking over each other's shoulder. I'm like going, babe, texting her on the phone. Hey, babe, there are 3 ducks from next door over here, and I don't know how they got over here because normally they don't wander over here. And so come to find out, there was actually 4 of them. One got injured and was laying there dead, and the fox got a hold of him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we didn't have this much problem. What's this? Not third world problems. This is rural country problems that we have here. But yeah, I guess there's a family of foxes moving through now. I've gotten rid of one of them, and I don't know if that made any difference. I took them 10 miles down the road and dropped them off at the local landfill, but I keep seeing 1 or 2 of them kind of darting around here on the property. We've never had this problem before, but in the same sense, they're also developing. They're knocking down a lot of the forest areas here. A lot of logging is going on here. They're putting in neighborhoods. They're putting in roads. They're putting in widening roads and bringing in waters from other lake sources from around from other counties and stuff to fill this property or fill the needs of the property around here. You know, you can only have so many wells tapping into that vein, and all of a sudden you turn your shower on, and you ain't got shit because, you know, the guy up the road ran a sprinkler all day. So little things like that. And outside of the Fox issues that we've been having, I had to rush my dad to, I say rush my dad. As you guys know, my dad lives here on the property. He's got the west wing of the house. We have the east wing of the house, and the way our house is set up, kitchen and living room in the area, in the center, common area, you know, we can meet and eat and do all that stuff and then go our separate ways. So my dad was like, I'm feeling, you know, shortness of breath. I can't catch my breath. I don't have any chest pains or anything. I just feel tired and weak. So he lives and dies by his oxygen meters, you know, the little alligator thing they stick on your finger. You know, I don't know how it reads your oxygen in your blood, but it does. And how it reads your pulse, it does. Puts this little alligator clip on his finger, and, you know, oh my God, it's below 90, and, you know, my BPMs are, you know, 115 or something like that. He goes, but if I move it over to this finger, I'm fine. I'm like, well, use that finger from now on. Use that finger, because your pointer finger, your nose picking finger, is getting you in trouble. But he had a I don't want to say an episode. He had a thing where it made him nervous. He was like, you know, I'm feeling really weak. I'm really tired. I'm like, Dad, you're old. You don't do anything. You eat horrible. You drink so much caffeine, and suppose your heart's not pounding out of your chest because you're trying to stay on top of things. Oh, I'm tired and sleepy. Let me pound, 3 Red Bulls or something like that. It doesn't work that way. It actually counterbalances what's happening. So rushed him to the hospital, and I say rushed. I took a shower, picked out a nice outfit, laced up my shoes real nice, got matching socks, got him out put him in the truck. Drove down there, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And the closest hospital from us is, a good 15, 20 miles away. Got him there, checked him in. They put him in like triage. Now, triage itself sounds, horrible. Like, you're thinking blood splatters and IV bags. And we need more A positive blood bags or whatever. No, they just put a couple things on him. Clipped him up to the machine, sat there for a minute, watched all the needles go up and down, or the digital needles go up and down. He's fine. Okay, well, we'll get you into a room. We'll take some more tests. And then we were there for 3.5 hours, maybe 4. Got in, got out. I mean, they were pretty much on top of it. But here's the thing. Here's what happens, or, here's what was happening when I was there. I'm standing there, I haven't eaten all day, and I'm sitting there and I'm like going, I'm bored. So I'm trying to keep my mind off being hungry. And I'm sitting there and I'm walking up and down the halls. As soon as I came out of that room, they've got like all the different nurses or all the different personnel in different colored outfits. There's the burgundy people that don't leave behind usually they're heavier people, if you know what I mean. They sit behind the desk on the computers. Then you've got the ones that are in the dark blue. They're always running from room to room. Then you've got the ones that are in like a light green, like a lime green. It seems like they're always moving people from room to room. And then there's a guy who walks around and like he just got off the golf course. He's walking around. Hey, how you doing? You doing all right? Hey, can I get you anything? Yeah, I'm starving. Can I get a ham sandwich or something? We can't have food on this floor. All right. Fuck, shit. So I'm sitting there at the sliding glass door to the room, and I'm leaning on the door. Now, this hospital that I took my dad to is also services the local prison. And there's a prison about 25 miles down the road from this hospital. So thank God they're a total of, 45 miles from us. But they do have times where they bring inmates into this place. And I was like, I heard about it, and I was like, all right, well, how do they do that? Do they, separate them? Is there cops standing out front? No, they're just in there like regular people, and I'm sitting there, and my dad's got that cloth, looks like Pioneer Woman design on the front of it, where it ties in the back. But the prison inmates, when they come in, they've got a full dark green, lightweight material, almost like a paper material, and yellow socks with little rubber sticky feet on the bottom. And so I'm like, oh, that's kind of a weird outfit. And then I put two and two together. I'm like, oh, these must be prison inmates that are here on the emergency floor. Well, it just so happened to be my lucky day, because this week, one guy tried to run, and I'm sitting there, leaning up against the door. We're in room 18, and I think there's 30 around the whole entire thing. So if you do a lap around, he's probably at door number 30, which is probably further away from the exit door, which makes sense. And I'm sitting there, and I'm leaning up against the door, just kind of watching everybody go by. And it's funny, because if someone new walks by and they see me standing in front of the doorway, they go, "Sir, are you okay? Do you need anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm just hanging out watching. There's nothing on TV in here. I'm watching you guys." Okay. And they run off. And I'm sitting there, and I hear, like, off in the distance, "No, sir, you need to go back to your room. You need to go back, sir, go back to your room." And then you see the nurses that weren't the big fat ones sitting behind the desk in the burgundy uniforms. They start getting up, and they start moving the opposite direction. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And they move in the opposite direction, but the dark nurses, the dark blue people, the dark blue scrubs and the lime green scrubs start going towards the sound. And they're not doing anything. And here's this one guy, heavyset guy, short guy, probably like 5'10", and he's just kind of doing, if you're watching me on the video here, he's just kind of walking and kind of pushing. He's not making a mad dash for it. He's not making a run. It's almost like he's sedated, but he's coming out of sedation, and he's like groggy, and he's trying to push people out. He's like, "Get out of my way. I'm leaving." And they're all like standing there, arms folded across the chest. I know you're saying, "Where's the security guard?" Well, it takes a minute for these security guards to get there. So they're all standing, they're not putting their hands on him. They're like, "No, sir." And they're kind of like leaning their shoulders into this guy to kind of push him back into his room. And he got out, and he's walking down the hallway. I'm like, great. Now here come the security guys. Now you want to talk about the big girls in the burgundy moving away. These guys are just as big as those nurses are. So they're big security guys. I mean, they're not going to be trying out for any mad 100-yard dash anytime soon, but they are big guys, and they come flying down the hallway, and you can hear them because they got their keys jingling and all the stuff on them jingling, and they're all dressed in black, and they go up, and they manhandled him. I mean, they grabbed his arms and, barred each arm so he couldn't move, and they tried to put him on a gurney, and once they got him on the gurney, he wouldn't, he'd crisscross his arms, and finally got the leather straps on him, just like you see in the movies. And he starts kicking, and they throw the one big strap over his midsection, one strap over his legs, and, zip, whoop, and then lock the little thing into the hole, and he's all and he's, let me out. Meanwhile, because I'm at the opposite end of the hallway, I've got all the burgundy nurses standing, and they're like that, child, don't pay me enough to do this. No, wait, that guy get free, he gone. I ain't stopping him. I got my best clothes on. I got to pick up my auntie nephew next week. I ain't doing that. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like going, well, at least I got entertainment for this evening. I turn around, my dad's sitting on the chair, kind of hunched over. He's got all his medical stuff hooked up to him. He's like, "What's going on out there?" "Nothing, Dad. Just an inmate trying to escape. That's what he's trying to do." "Huh?" Never. I'll tell you later. You concentrate on breathing, all right? Don't exert yourself. You don't need this much excitement in your life right now. Start breathing, get your oxygen up. Let's get the hell out of here. All right, guys, before we get the hell out of here, stick around. Don't leave yet, because we've got a lot going on today. So, and another incident where someone at the front desk has gotten in trouble for stealing your credit card at a doctor's office. And you're like going, "Jesus Christ, lady, I come here to be healed, and you're stealing my information." So I'll get into that story here shortly. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Follow us on all your social networks, and the way you'd find them, our go-to, profitradio.com has a listing of everywhere that you can find us. You can be part of the show at any given time over there as well. Just pretend like you like us, so make sure you like us on our Facebook. Make sure you like us on our YouTube channel, Twitter. I don't really do a whole lot of Twitter stuff. It's just a bunch of repeat stuff, regurgitated stuff of what you've already seen on Instagram and Facebook. And also, we have a TikTok page. So go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com, and you can find all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. And you can get yourself some free stuff over there. Check that out as well under free swag. Now, over in California, I don't know if you know this or not, but California, you know, once they get the fires and stuff that go through, and they have vegetation that tries to come back. And one of the things that comes back in tenfold is, whoops, let me go back here, is the kudzu. And there are actual farmers that will take, 200, 300 head of goats and walk them in an area and let them eat the kudzu down, and, acres and acres and acres, so they can go in there and refarm and do whatever, or just to keep control over these large overgrown areas. Well, I guess this group of goats got out from eating all this vegetation. In California neighborhood was briefly taken over by a horde of goats after they escaped their enclosure. In Pinole, the Pinole Police Department was called to the scene to help recapture the animal. Upon arriving, the officers apparently realized that they were no match for the large herd. There's nothing we can do until the herder gets here. And the officers, you can hear him saying during the video here, a huge number of goats can be seen in people's gardens and making themselves at home in the front yard. The animals, which have been used to the state to eat up dried vegetation and reduce wildfires, were eventually returned to their enclosure. Now, if you want to see this video, I'm going to go to camera 4 so you can see this. And here they are. They're just roaming through this lady's neighborhood, and she's videotaping them.
What do you do?
They're eating everything.
There's nothing we can do until the herder gets here.
They are all over the street. They're eating the vegetables. They're eating all the vegetation, the flowers, the plants. They're just going to town, man. Look at them. What do you do? Oh, we're going to go over here. Oh, yeah, there's easily 300 of them over there. So they got out of their enclosure, and they're just doing what goats do. Eating shit. Now, us as humans do what humans do. And what's the whole, you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it, like on the Discovery Channel? Well, over the years and over time and stuff, we've had issues with, sexual transmitted diseases that'll kill you, being, unwanted pregnancies, and so on and so forth. So, you can take it as you will as far as whether you have the right to have unprotected sex or protected sex and so on and so forth. There's a lot of religions involved as far as contraceptive, and the list goes on and on. But for all you atheists, let me switch back to camera 1. All you atheists and people that really don't get into that, you just want to get your freak on and you want to do it in the safest way possible and the most natural way as possible. Can't feel anything. Stick my dick in a car door and slam it. I can't feel nothing. Public health officials are deploying the power of a new weapon in the war against the rise of sexual transmitted infections, a common antibiotic that works like the after morning pill. It's not just the latest advancement in sexual health fields, shifting to preventative medicine, not just condoms or abstinence or tests, the best hope for squashing pathogens that can spread during sex. For decades, people have been able to have unprotected sex with the low risk of contracting HIV, thanks to the daily pill known as PrEP, or PrEP. Or technically, it's called the pre-exposure prophylaxis. Technical name. I do so well on them. But we're still susceptible to the bacteria bug, including the recent spike in syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia until now. Recent studies show that the antibiotic doxycycline taken after sexual encounters works as a post-exposure to prevent those infections. But experts are also worried about the unintended consequences. The Center of Diseases, the CDC, well, they just put that, and prevention plans to release guidelines later this summer to deploy the treatment known as DoxyPep. That's DOXY, capital P, capital E, capital P, DoxyPep, in hope of addressing fears among medical professions that preventative use will fuel antibiotic resistance, the rise of drug-resistant superbugs. It is the first major innovation that we've had for STIs since the vaccination for the human papillomavirus nearly 2 decades ago. Doctors, public health officials, and sexual health clinics are embracing preventative pills as a realistic way to curb the STIs or STDs because of they preserve pleasure while protecting their partners. Some doctors have started prescribing it to a narrow segment of the gay community, considering the elevated risk of STDs. Just like PrEP, the the preventative for HIV, was a game changer. This empowers the individuals to make choices about their sexual health. It doesn't always have to be about condoms. So doxycycline is already used in the frontline antibiotic treatments for chlamydia and occasionally for syphilis and gonorrhea. But its use for preventative has drawn concerns that it will no longer be effective in patients who use it regularly, that it may facilitate an evolution of antibiotic resistant strains and pathogens. So what they're afraid of is that, it's going to form and reform and create new types of gonorrhea and types of syphilis and all that stuff. It's funny that they always go to the gay community because they always look at the gay community as, promiscuous. You have 2 girls and 2 guys, or a girl that's a guy and a guy that's a girl, or whatever you want to call them. I'm confused. Just whatever you guys are doing. And they figure, I'm not going to get pregnant. You're not going to get pregnant. So let's just, beat it out together. But the thing is, that's why HIV was passing around so quickly. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, why are there rocks in my cookie? I thought this was all natural. Well, technically it is, isn't it? And we'll dive into that story when we come back. Stick around. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Let's try that again. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to be heard? Well, we'd love to hear from you. And the way you can be part of the show, you can do that at any time, is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com. At the bottom of the page says Be Heard. Click on that little Be Heard. Opens up a microphone. Click on the record button. You can be anonymous if you want. I don't care. I just want to hear from you. If you want to mention something about anything that we said here on the program at any time, we have an 8-year catalog of over, I think, close to coming up on 400 songs, 400 shows. Feel free to go back through and ask us any questions on those. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. If you want to talk about something from, 2017, 2018, I will know exactly what you're talking about. It might take me a minute to get back to that show and listen to what you were describing, but I will get to you and answer you, and you can be heard right here on the program. Just click Be Heard on whatever device you are listening to us on. Now, my wife, this year, the first time, my wife has signed me up for vision on our insurance. Before, I had no problem with my vision. Everything's fine. But the more and more I wake up in the morning and I'm looking at my phone, that's probably one of the things. First thing in the morning, turn on my phone and I'm looking at it like this. And then I start pulling it, if you're watching me on the video here on YouTube, and I start pulling it out like this, and I'm like going, phew, Jesus, I cannot see this. And she's like going, well, we need to get you to get your eyes checked. I'm like, God, but it's only bad in the morning. As the day progresses, my eyesight gets better. So I don't know if it's my eyes are just full of like morning gunk or whatever, but I have a hard time seeing for the first like hour or 2 in the morning. So I make an initiative not to read anything for the first 2 hours in the morning. Hey, read this document. No, I'm fine. No, I'll wait. I'll read it after lunch. I'll read it after lunch. Now, a receptionist in Florida's in a doctor's office has been arrested. Way to go, Florida. Here we go. After allegedly stealing more than $40,000 from dozens of patients. The investigation into Angela Mina, a receptionist at the I'm not kidding. It's called the McDonald, M-A-C, Donald Family Eye Care of Winter Springs, Florida, just northeast of Orlando, a year ago on March 11, 2022, when the optometrist's office contacted the Winter Springs Police Department about a potential case fraud. According to the business, the receptionist, Angela Mina, who is allegedly illegally using patients' credit card information to commit credit card fraud. During the month-long investigation into the suspect, authorities from the Winter Garden Springs found that Mina was using her own Square account to steal approximately $44,000 from 76 patients who frequent the family practice. Following the conclusion, after a 16-month investigation, authorities filed charges in the state, and she was arrested. Mina was arrested this past Friday on July 21 on several charges, and she will sit in the Orange County Jail and wait to be prosecuted. Winter Springs Police Department investigations are ongoing and no further details. Can you imagine that? You trust the person behind the counter. Like, we go up to a veterinarian, and that veterinarian, they are packed. They bring in chickens and dogs and cattle, and they actually come out and do horse stuff. And if you've got livestock, it's that kind of veterinarian. And that's what we have in this area. It's a rural county. So this doctor's office, this veterinary office, does large animals as well. But when I have, Cookie Puss, my 13-year-old bulldog, when I bring her in there, you trust everything. I don't know. They don't have a keypad on the counter. I always hand the card over to the girl behind the counter to pay for everything. And she's got the little thing where she slides it in, slides it out. How is she doing? And I'm sitting there watching her. How is the girl behind the counter going to steal my thing if she's got a Square? Now, if you don't know what Square is, kind of plugs in, if you're watching me on the video here, kind of plugs into the top of your phone, and it reads the magnetic strip, and then you've got the information on your card. It's like a skimmer or a scammer or a scammer. But this girl did it, and boy, she got charged for it. She's going to be charged for it, and she's going down. She's going down. Someone else is going down. It's Trader Joe's. Now, not the store itself. Trader Joe's cookies, which, in my opinion, if you said, hey, check out these cookies from Trader Joe's, they're delicious, I would go, no. And then I would go, give me something with actual chocolate in them, actual sugar, brown sugar, all that good stuff. But right now, Trader Joe's is recalling 2 types of cookies that the grocer said that they found could possibly contain foreign material. Trader Joe's said it was alerted by the supplier that the cookies may contain rocks. All right, so let's digest that a little bit, okay? You are a cookie manufacturer, right? In your facility, you should have what? Flour, dough, ingredients, other ingredients, metal, the machinery and stuff, and everything else. Nowhere would you have like a bag of rocks laying around, or rocks that are involved in making cookies, unless they're making them, beating the dough on on the side of the stream, like you would bang out your laundry and stuff. There are 2 types of cookies included in this recall. The Trader Joe's almond windmill cookies. Sounds delicious. Does it come with a gallon of milk to wash it down? And also Trader Joe's dark chocolate chunk and almond cookies. Okay, here we go. There's the problem. So the landscaper was out front, and, they're redoing the parking lot or whatever, and they're putting all the bags of rocks around all the palm trees or whatever that the cookie manufacturer is doing. And then somehow a bag of almonds got mixed up with the bag of, the river rock that you buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And the guy goes, hey, Steve, go over there and get the almonds for this batch of cookies. Okay, what's it look like? It looks like it's a brown bag or clear bag, and it's got a bunch of stuff inside of it. Okay, sir. He goes over, grabs this landscape river rock, the pebble the Chattahoochee rock, comes over and goes, here you go, dumps it in there. God, this bag's heavy. He dumps it in there thinking it's almonds. That's the only way I can think that you could switch these out and accidentally put rocks in the goddamn cookies. The items are no longer available at Trader Joe, and they're urging anyone who purchased the container, do not eat them. We urge you to discard the product and return any of them for a full refund. This was reported in Detroit. So, you wanted all natural cookies, you hippies, you fucking hippies out there, and now you're complaining that it's got rocks in it? Come on. You want your cake and eat it too? No, I want my cookies and eat it too. Well, there you go. All right, guys, when we come back, I got a couple ways of how you can make some money. One's an illegal way and one's a legitimate way. And I'm going to let you decide on which one you want to take. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we will give you something for free. All you have to do is go to Prophet Radio. Proud sponsors of Deacon Live. That's PROPHET radio.com. At the top of the page, there's a little bar that says free swag. Click on that. Pick out whatever prize pack you want, and they will send it out to you. Believe me, it's not an email grab or anything like that. They just want to say thank you for listening to us, or whatever podcast that you are listening to us on or at. There's a couple different podcasts on there, and you can check all those out and get yourself some stickers, some magnets. There's some, I think they still have a couple headphones left over in the prize bin over there. So get those out, fill that out, and they'll send those out to you as soon as they possibly can. And while you're over there, make sure you follow us on all your social networks. They would appreciate that as well. Now, when I moved in, I moved out. Hold on. I moved in and moved out. When I was 20 years old, I bought my first house. I bought it just outside of Orlando, Florida, in a bustling community called Azalea Park. Now, Azalea Park is in the city, quote unquote, city of Orlando. So I had to follow all their rules and everything. And one of the things that they did is in the city of Orlando, and this is the very, very early days of recycling. This is 1994. And Orlando itself wanted everyone to recycle. So moved in. I'm like, all right, great. I got recycle bins. And, being a 21-year-old college kid, you have parties and all that stuff at the house. You build up a bunch of recyclables, I guess, is where I'm going with that. And next door to me was an old retired Air Force mechanic. Older gentleman, probably when I moved in, he was probably 61, 62 years old, would talk about going down to the PX and getting his carton of cigarettes and a couple cases of beer for $8 each, Milwaukee's Best, or old Milwaukee at the time before Miller bought him out. And he would tell me stories about, he'd drink a case of beer in a couple days, and then he would crush the cans and fill up one of those hefty bags, and we'd take them to the recycle center. And he was like, I'd be damned if I give I'll be damned if I give the city my money. I'm going to go down there and take these cans and, get some money for them. And I can then take the money and buy another case of beer. I'm like, I'm a college kid. I'm paying for the house on my own and working part-time at I forget where I was working at the time, but doing all this stuff all at the same time, trying to save money. So I said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So I started doing that, started saving my cans, went down to the place, and it's a, scrapyard or whatever. And I'm like going, hey, you go to this little window in a trailer, and you're knocking on the window, and they slide it open. What do you got? I go, aluminum cans, throw it on the scale. And it's this big 4x4 sheet of metal, with some kind of counterbalance on it. You throw the cans on there. He reads it. He writes it down on a little ticket, gives it to you. You go back to that sliding window. You hand it to the guy. He hands you $3.45. I go, really? There's probably 300-400 cans of aluminum in there, and this is all I get? It's what you get. That's what they're paying. And I go, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm not saving up three and taking them in your car, and they leak and all over the place. And I'm like, I'm not bringing these back. So that was it. I did it one time, maybe twice. I tried to fill them up with sand. They're like, nah. They went through and go, here's your can of rocks. Nope, can't do that. Get out of here, kid. You bother me. So I said that was the end of my recycling day. But right now, 8 members of a family that run a recycling center across Southern California are facing felony charges in related allegations that they smuggled 178 tons of recyclables from Arizona to take advantage of California's recycling program. Over the span of 8 months, a U.S. City Department of Justice investigation investigated several recycling centers around Riverside County and found that operators redeemed $7.6 million worth of aluminum cans, plastic bottles that were brought over illegally from another state. 8 people, 8 people, all said to be family members, were named in the charging documents provided by Cal Recycle, C-A-L Recycle. I guess that's California Recycling. The charges were filed as part of a large ongoing investigation by Cal Recycle to identify and arrest those who tried to defraud the California residents of recycling redemption credits that are meant to encourage the use of California Redemption Value Program, or the CRV. The program allows Californians to return beverage containers to privately owned recycle centers in exchange for 5 to 6 cents per container. Now, yeah, 5 or 6 cents per container, I would have made a killing on that. Not by the weight. That's where they fucking got me. This is funded by Californians every time they purchase an eligible item. The CRV tax is tacked on to the initial cost, but then is redeemed by coupon. By redeeming the ineligible items from outside of the state, scammers effectively steal money out of the pockets of Californians. Darn it, are they really? Damn it. Only 10 states have the beverage container depot programs like California's, including the National Conference of State Legislators. It is illegal to transport cans or bottles across state lines to redeem them for cash payout. This discrepancy in the state-by-state recycling redemption became a subject of a Seinfeld plot in 1996 when Kramer and Newman concocted a scheme to take a truckload of recyclables to Michigan to cash in on 10% deposit return. So there you go. They are getting they're getting and that seems so silly. That seems so silly. Think about it. First of all, you buy a soda in California. Let's say it's 50 cents. Then they throw on this, if you don't recycle this, let's say it's 7 cents. So they add another 7 cents on that. But then when you take it back to you take that can and recycle it back in California, you get 5 to 10 cents depending on who's doing the bargaining there. So they're tacking on a surcharge, a tax onto a can that you may or may not return anyways. Who cares if they're well, hold on before I say who cares and get on this Apple box of mine. Let's start by not taxing them the charge up front and just say, hey, look, bring us all your cans, we'll pay for it. Now, maybe not 5 or 6 cents or 5 to 10 cents per can. Fuck that. Do the weight thing. Do the whole thing. Make it a little bit more, well, if they run into the aspects of what I was doing and I only got, out for 27 pounds of aluminum cans, I don't know how many cans that is, 300 and something cans, I only got $5.30. I don't know. Just, you're recycling. Let's do it that way. You're doing the right thing. You're doing a good thing. Just go with it. Think about it. Cut your losses, figure out a different program. Something's not right there. There's too big of a hole. There's too much of a loophole in your hole to allow people from coming outside and taking advantage of this. Now, would have found him if it was only a couple $1,000s? Maybe not. But this family of 8 got greedy and cashed in $7.6 million. Imagine that, $7.6 million. Think about on the other end. They've got to pay someone in Arizona. Hey, Charlie Recyclables, what do you do with these cans? We just take them to the recycle center and just, plow through them. Hey, how about if I give you 22 cents per pound and I'll take these off your hand? Sure, I'm not getting any money for them anyways. Throw them on my truck there. All of them? Well, I got another truck over there. Throw them on that one too. And they take them over and they get the $7.6 million. So now you got to back pay who you took the cans from, right? I mean, it's a scary, slippery, aluminum foiled slope. Now, here's another way for you to make money. I know. I crack myself up sometimes. So, you out there, people listening to me right now, if you have a Facebook page and you were on Facebook between May 24th, 2007 to December 22nd, 2022, you are eligible to receive up to $725 million. Now, it depends on how many people sign up for it, but Meta is paying a lawsuit out alleging that the world's largest social media platform allows millions of users of its personal information to be fed to Cambridge Analytica. And that's the whole thing that, what's his name? He had a booster chair. Zuckerberg. A firm that supported Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. So anyone in the U.S. who's had a Facebook between 2007 and 2022 is eligible to receive a payment. To apply for the settlement, users must fill out a form and submit it online or print it out and mail it in. The deadline is August 25th. It's not clear how much money an individual or user will receive. The larger the number of people submitting the valid claims will be smaller depending on each payment out, since the money will be divided up amongst all you. So, don't tell your friends. The case sprang from a 2018 revelation that Cambridge Analytica, the firm that has ties with Trump's political strategist, we'll go with that, Steve Bannon, had paid a Facebook app developer for access to the personal information about 87 million users of the platform. That data was then used to target U.S. voters during the 2016 campaign and ultimately led to Trump's election as a 45th president. Now, you say, well, that's wrong. You can't do that. No. People do it all the time. Now, when you throw Trump on there and, oh my God, that's wrong. Gee, shut the fuck up, all right? What do? There's a reason why you take surveys and polls. There's a reason why there's all these other companies out there. Cambridge Analytica is one of the first major big things where a president or a candidate says, hey, let's find out who's our audience. Who do we need to, gear our stuff to? And they say, okay, well, this is Cambridge Analytica. Great. Let me have all your data of everyone. Okay. So they pay him. You get the data. He's got the data. What's wrong with that? It's no different than if I was going to make a movie. Well, who's this movie for? I don't know. Let's who does all the movie stuff? Let's hire Netflix. Netflix, who does what's your audience? Netflix gives you all the information and then you make a movie based on Netflix information. It's no different than that. It was all done legally. You sign up for it. No, yes you did. Yes you did. Whenever you post something on Facebook, you signed up and you put your picture on there. This is me, this is Fluffy, this is my kids, this is us on vacation, all that stuff. You've agreed to that. And if you telling yourself, no, I didn't, you're lying. You're not reading the content. You're not reading the terms of agreement and all that stuff. You're lying. You understand that. I had someone the other day, Jesus Christ, someone the other day on the Marshville Facebook page said there's a guy sitting in a car. Why do guys sit in a car at 9 o'clock in the morning in a public park watching kids? Well, maybe he's on his lunch break. Maybe he's doing this. Maybe he's doing that. Well, I don't feel safe with my kids being out there. And it's a long thread and people just going back and forth. The guy's probably just out there sitting there having lunch. You don't know. But you see a guy sitting, white or black, doesn't matter. You see a guy out there with no kids or anything, just sitting there with the car on, the AC on, probably reading a book or listening to, whatever, meditation and stuff. But then on your own Facebook page, you're posting TikTok videos of that same park of you and your kids and your husband dancing around to a stupid song. I don't want this guy looking at my kids in the park. Come on, honey, we got to do our TikTok video for, 50,000 subscribers. I mean, because it's too in front of you. You can't see these people. Give me a break. Figure it out, people. All right. So if you want to make some money, I wanted to tell you where to go. Sorry, I left that part out. Let me get off this Apple box. It's a little high for me. So if you want to go to it, here's the website. Get ready. It's long. Get your pens out. Get your ink blotters. Here we go. It's Facebook user privacy settlement.com /# submit -claim. Got it? We'll go say it once. If you want to see it, rewind the tape. But you put in your first name, your last name, all the general instructions. Now here's once you're filling it out, it's got method for receiving payment. Because I already filled mine out. I've got like 16 accounts, so I should have 16 different checks coming in. It says make sure your email and phone number is correct and stuff. Now you can have it a prepaid MasterCard. You can have it sent to PayPal, Venmo, a direct deposit, or use Zelle. I want a nice hard check. I want a paper check. And you can click on that, and based on the information that you put in there, you can get a paper check sent to your doorstep. All right, guys, stick around. One more little segment. And speaking of coming to your doorstep, is trick-or-treating going to be canceled this year? Is Halloween going to be canceled this year? You'd be surprised, and there's a freaky reason why, and it's not because of religion or anything like that. It's something really, really stupid that we're getting into right now. Maybe it's recycling. Who knows? Stick around. I'll get into those details when we come back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? We'll give you something for free, but you got to do us a favor. You got to go to prophetradio.com, click on free swag, fill out whatever prize pack you want over there. There's a whole bunch of different podcasts, a whole bunch of different stickers, a whole bunch of cool things. There's even a couple, I think there's a set of headphones over there. If they got some any left, they'll send those out to you as well. They're nice. They're wired headphones. They're good quality and stuff. So if you need that little extra spare stuff around, you want a free pair, fill that out. That's Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio over there.com, and get a pair of those as well. Now, for the last couple weeks, actually, summertime, I'm getting so fat. So I want to walk around and shoot a cat. I don't know. I'm trying to make a song there. But no, everyone tries to get into their summer body and everything. And it's a scam. It is a total scam. Where the holidays are placed and all that stuff, it's a total scam. We don't have any big eating holidays, like actually outside of like Labor Day or anything like that, or Memorial Day. I get the two mixed up. There's no like really big eating holidays outside of 4th of July where you're cooking out and stuff, all the way up until we get to Halloween. So it's a scam that, we want to stay skinny. I don't want to eat a whole lot of food. And then we get into the colder months. You're like, okay, I don't have to wear a bathing suit anymore. I can get into like bigger clothes. I don't mind eating holiday candy. Unfortunately, there is something called sugarflation. Sugar prices are on the rise and are expected to increase with tight supplies coupled with weather and mayhem, according to the people of Axios. The intensity of the dry season that El Nino, are we still talking about that? Jesus, is set to influence this year's result in a 10 to 15% reduction in the sugarcane fields globally. Your sweet tooth may have to pay a pretty penny to be satisfied. The big picture shows that the national nearly 90-year-old sugar program is the root of the problem, with the policies requiring 85% of the U.S. sugar purchases to come from domestic processors. Well, that's great. The National Confections Association is working with lawmakers to reform the program, where American businesses are forced to operate at a disadvantage, noting that paid noting that they paid 2 or 3 times as much for sugar as their competition in other countries. Rising food costs and impacting families, the U.S. sugar program only fans the flames to increase the cost, forcing American consumers to pay $2.4 billion to $4 billion per year for food, according to the sugar. So by the numbers, sugar and sweets were up 11% in June compared to a year earlier. So between the lines, the sugar shortage could cause Halloween candy shortage, which manufacturers have warned about in the past. Did they say that last year? I forget. So all the cheap candies out there, the one where you paid $20 for the 190 pack thing, it's all like the garbage stuff you normally wouldn't get. It's nothing like M&Ms or Mars or anything like that. Last July, the Hershey Company warned that they may not be able to fully meet the customer's demand for Halloween in 2022 because of the supply changes. Hopefully our production is busy and our warehouse staff is full, and there's not going to be any shortage for Halloween this year. Most likely, what consumers will sense this year is the higher price of candy. But there's a chance that, given the sugar supply, even globally, some candy manufacturers could fall short, based on this Axios magazine. So here's the thing. We can't import sugar from other places because there's a lot of things set in stone. There's a lot of things where the way they process sugar overseas is not on the same level that the way we process sugar over here in the United States. I think theirs is a 6-step process. I could be wrong on that. And ours is a 3-step process to get the sugar out of the sugar cane. The sugar overseas is a better quality sugar than it is over here, if that makes any sense for you. And believe it or not, their sugar content, because of let me make sure I get this story straight. Subway bread over here is considered bread. Overseas, it's considered a candy because the sugar content in our bread over here is higher than the sugar content in the bread over there. I think they can't say it can't contain any more than 18% sugar in the actual mix to be considered a bread over in Europe. So, eat fresh, right? So the bread over here from Subway has like 18%. And I say 18%, I could be off on that, but we have a higher sugar percentage over here. So our sugar takes a little bit more to make the products that we have over here because it's processed. It's more raw defined. They're finding a way to cut corners. Anyways, the long of the short is, I know I'm rambling here. The long of the short is the candy prices, we are locked into buying 80 or 90 to 85 to 90% of our sugar from local distributors here in the United States. That's great. That's perfect. But unfortunately, because of the weather and all that stuff, our sugar producers are not creating enough sugar for the whole entire nation. So what do? Stop eating fucking candy. Stop doing this. Stop using our sugar for this. Can we figure out the sugar for this? It's a spiraling. We did this to ourselves. Now, yes, we could bring in sugar from somewhere else, but you're still going to pay a higher price. Now, someone right now, and one of my favorite candies is either M&M's or peanut butter or Reese's peanut butter. Anything peanut butter and chocolate peanuts and chocolates. I love that. Snickers bar, I'll eat them all day long. So I don't know. Are the kids, maybe this is the time. Maybe parents out there, all you Trader Joe people, maybe this is the year that you teach your young ones that, hey, we don't need candy. We just go back to apples and boiled eggs. Let's do that. Hard-boiled eggs and apples. There's a razor in my apple. Oh, there's a dead chicken in my egg. I mean, we got to do what we got to do, right? We're Americans. We're number one. That's what we have to do. If anyone gives me a bag of goddamn pretzels on Halloween, I will crunch them up. I've even seen people give like little bags of salad with a little dressing inside, like you buy at the grocery store. You get like the big bag of Asian mix, and it's got all the ingredients in like separate cellophane bags. I've seen people give bags of like romaine. No, not like Ziploc seal, like actual. It's a salad in a bag, and it's probably. And if you're watching me on the camera here on YouTube, search DeaconLive podcast. It's about 4 by 4 inch square, and it's got like cranberries and almonds or rocks. We don't know. They could be recalled too. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is the year that we teach kids that not to have candy, or this is the only time of the year that the kids can have candy, and then it's banned for the rest of the year, except for Easter. And then it's banned for, except for Christmas. And then it's banned for, except for your birthday. And then it's banned for the rest of the year, right? So those 4 days, you're only allowed to have candy, and you have to have a coupon or a ticket or something, and I would turn that in, and I would get my candy, whatever my allowance is for candy. That's where we're going. We're going into a socialized food distribution if they can't figure this out. Now, someone who has figured something out, I don't know if it's good or bad. Many years ago, I was arguing with a good friend of mine about combos. If you guys don't know what combos are overseas, there are two types. There is a pretzel. It's a small little, like, what do I say? It's not a cannon. I'm thinking it's a pretzel-filled snack. It's about the size of a half a battery. Hold on. I'll figure this out. About the size of an olive. Let's do it that way. Size of an olive, almost like an olive, how that has the pimento in it. It either is made out of a cracker material or a pretzel material. And I argued with him many years ago, and I said, you know what? It'd be cool if, Pregos, if combos came out with a pretzel with a mustard filled. And I actually emailed them, and they said, oh, that's a great idea. We're always looking for new flavors and stuff. Because I think of those big round twisty pretzels that you get at like the ballpark or at the state fair or something like that. A good friend of mine introduced me to those pretzels, nice hot, gooey pretzels, and dip them into like a mustard. And that was so good. I was like, oh man, this is the best. This is the tits is what they say. But sometimes maybe this is a solution for us running out of sugar. Is Skittles right now has come out with a new flavor, hopefully in time for this Halloween season. It's out right now because it's for National Mustard Day. Skittles has released a new flavor of Skittles. The candy has partnered with French's to make a new tangy mustard flavored Skittle in collaboration with National Mustard Day on August 5th. Unfortunately or fortunately, the new Skittle will be available at the French's Mobile in select cities. Boo! Boo! Making a stop by in Atlanta in July 31st, Washington, D.C. on August 2nd, and New York on August 5th. Fans can also enter an online sweepstakes for a chance to win a package of mustard-flavored Skittles. All right, I'm going there. Let's see. If you want to see this, guys, make sure you go over to Prophet Radio, or make sure you search for us on YouTube, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here. So here we go. I want Get Mustard Skittles. Where to buy? I wanted this. Where to get mustard Skittles. Fill out our profile to enjoy McCormick's meal plan. I don't want a meal planner. Live on the East Coast or the West Coast? Not all. No coast at all. No worries. We will take our candy to complete the following the form to win. All right, here we go. We're going to fill the form out. All right, first name. Got it here. Oops. Spell that right. Last name. Email address. Big Black Honky Dicks.com. Address. 4 Loco Street in beautiful Marshville, North Crackalacka. Postal zip code, none of your business. I would like to sign up to receive. No, I'm 18 years. Yes, I would like to do that. Submit. Thank you. Winners will be contacted via email. All right, so there you go. So Skittles is coming out with a mustard flavored Skittle, sponsored by French's. So here's my question. I've seen. Oops. hit a couple buttons there and I switched screens. So here's my question. I've seen a lot of stuff that is coming out with tangy ketchup. Doritos has done. There's a whole bunch of new flavors out there. So maybe if we can collectively get together and shift our way and get us off all this processed food. And believe me, I will eat a cheese and macaroni sandwich all day long. But I was sitting there thinking the other day, I'm like I was drinking a Mountain Dew. I just had one. I wanted something cold. I wanted something sprizzly, and I opened up a Mountain Dew. It was a 4th of July flavor we had left over, and I took a sip, and I go, why am I drinking this? Why do I have this in my hand? Why is this available? Why are we, why is this allowed to happen? When they talk about, obesity and all this other stuff, and we need to not to eat this and do this, I understand food for the masses, right? We need to do something. But do we need mustard-flavored Skittles? No, we don't. We'd like to. So the people that allow this to happen, here's what we got for you. That's our own fault. That's our own fault. And lack of education as far as the way to eat right and stuff. Believe me, I've been trying to get my stuff down. My issues and stuff that I have. I've been trying to eat right and do better myself. And I hope you guys do better yourself as well going into the holiday season. No, I'm not leaving you guys yet. I mean, I'm going to leave you this show, but I'm not leaving you all together. All right, so on that note, guys, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying what you got to do. Make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel. Search DeaconLive Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're on TikTok as well. Also, if you want something for free, get that over there at Prophet Radio. And while you're over there, we'd love for you to hear from you. You can be podcast famous. Just click on Be Heard at the bottom of the page. Hit record. You can be anonymous if you want. It's not an email grab. We'd just like to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. And we'll play it on the very next podcast as well. Believe me, I promise you. I've played them before. I will play them again. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying goodnight and goodnight.
Wait, come back.
This is the absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Just short. Oh, well.